So Pool C is certainly delivering so far in terms of being one of the closest pools of the Rugby World Cup 2023. In this game, Australia taking on Fiji. It is going to be an outstanding one, a very important game for the Fijians if they do want a chance making it through to the quarterfinals. But for the Wallabies, they have got themselves their first win under Eddie Jones. They'll love to make it a second in a row here up against the Flying Fijians. But in this preview, we will be looking through at the lineups for the two sides, previous results, key players to watch out for, and also at the end a prediction for who we think will be walking away with this victory. But we will get straight into it. The lineup for the Fijians, similar to what they did have in the last game up against Wales. They've gone with a very strong side as they needed to here, as this win is absolutely crucial. In the front row, it is Roni Maui at number 1, Sam Matavisi at number 2, and number 3, they have gone with Luke Tangi. So an identical front row to what they did have in that game up against Wales. In the lock and duo, also the same as Soana Silasila at number 4 and number 5. It is Te Ehuaru Wharikadavita in the loose forward trio. A little bit of a reshuffle here. Lakima Tangi Valu did play 7 last week up against Wales and also managed to get himself a try. He is now playing at number 6. Number 7, they have gone with Lavani Botia, a man who came off the bench last week. And then at number 8, it is once again Viliami Mata, an absolutely incredible player when it comes to getting those meters, also putting in the big hits. He had the biggest hit of that last game up against Wales. Looking through at the backline, they have made a change at number 9. It is instead of Frank Lamani, Simeone Kuravuli gets himself the start at 9. Number 10, they have stuck with Tite Teller. Of course, they would have loved Caleb Muntz, but due to his injury, they did have to make that change. Out on the left wing, it is Semi Radradra, who did play the last game at inside centre. In the centre combination, Joshua Tuisova at number 12 and number 13, Waisia Naiftalevu. Number 14, it is Gita Waininyolo, and number 15 to close out the side for the Fijians. They have gone with Eliza Druasisi. So overall, not too many changes across that whole side. Only really Lavani Botia coming into the side rather than Albert Tuisui. Also, they have gone with Kuravuli as the starting 9, and then out on the wings, 2 changes there with no Ravatamanda and no Vinay Habosi. For the Australians, they have made 3 changes in their starting lineup, one of which coming in this front row. Number 1, Angus Bell. Number 2, Dave Parecki. And number 3, it is James Slipper, a man who has predominantly played out on the loose head prop side, now getting the chance at tight head. That is due to the injury of Daniela Tupou. In the lock and duo will be Nick Frost at number 4 and the captain at 5, Will Skelton. Then in the loose forward trio, number 6, Tom Hooper, number 7, Fraser McWright, and number 8, Rob Valentini. And we know it's going to be a game where the loose forward trio will be extremely crucial for these two sides. It will be extremely physical in those breakdowns, and any opportunity to get those turnovers, both sides will have to grab with both hands. Their backline, number 9, Nick White, that is due to the injury of Tate McDermott, did take a head knock in the last game up against Georgia. Number 10, they have stuck with the youngster Carter Gordon. Out on the left wing, Marika Koromberi. In the midfield, it is Samu Kurivi at number 12, so going head to head with Joshua Tuisova. And number 13, Jordan Bataia. Out on the right wing, Mark Nawanganitawasi. And at 15, a man who got himself 2 tries in the last game for the Australians, it is Ben Donaldson. But those are the starting lineups. Now we look through at key players for the Fijians. I look at that 4-pack, see the likes of a Sam Matavisi, with the fact that those lineouts will have to be accurate in this game. The more possession Fiji can get early, the better it will be for them near the start of this game. Viliami Mata at 8. Here's another player that I've got a close eye on for this game, mainly because of bringing that physicality that he does and that he has been bringing for the Rugby World Cup opener as well as the Pacific Nations Cup. And in that back line, there are so many options for Fiji that I could choose here, whether or not that is Kuravuli getting a start at 9 ahead of Frank Lamani, which I think is a very good decision from the Fijian selectors. Tuisova, we know how much of a bulldozer he can be. The vision of Waisia Naiftalevu on the outside. Semi Radradra on one wing, Gita Waininyolo out there on the other, and then under the high ball at the back, Eliza Druasisi. You could almost argue this whole Fijian backline is the key for them in this match, and I guess it's my video, I'll say that is my call. Fijian backline, as well as a couple of those forwards, pretty much the whole team. For the Australians, of course, their backline going to be extremely important in this game. Mark Nawanganitawasi, he has been in absolutely brilliant form since taking to that Wallabies jersey. He breaks through tackles, manages to defend well, does very well for the Waratahs throughout Super Rugby Pacific. And I think he's going to be one of the big players throughout this game. For the Wallabies, of course, Ben Donaldson, a lot of people expecting a massive follow-up performance from him after the way that he did play up against Georgia. But I think that Carter Gordon at 10 is also going to be very important for the Wallabies in this game, alongside the big man at 12, Samu Karevi. In that 4-pack, definitely looking at James Slipper, seeing as he isn't playing on the normal side of the scrum that he would be on, means that there's going to be a little bit of added pressure on him to perform here at 3, and if he does play well, could get himself that 3 spot for quite a few games to come. But those are some of the key players. Of course, there are many more throughout this game. Everyone is going to have to play a role if their side are to get the victory. But looking through at the previous results, now the benefit that Australia have is they won their first game. Fiji, they had the narrow loss to Wales, but they did get themselves 2 bonus points, one for scoring 4 or more tries and the other for being within the 7. But looking through at that game, for the Fijians, 32 points to 26, almost one of the best comebacks we have seen in a very long time in international rugby. The Fijians, they dug deep, they showed heart, they showed courage, they showed adversity, but in the end, just not quite able to get themselves that victory. And something that they will credit themselves to was putting Wales under immense pressure when they were only 5 metres out from the Welsh line. Wales were giving away penalties back to back to back to back. It may not have led to many cards, but it led to the Fijians showing how strong they can be just out from the line, whether that is using the props to try and drive forward just that little bit more, or getting it out wide for some of those backs to show off their class. But the score in that game was 32 points to 26 in favour of Wales. Fiji, like I said, still getting themselves the 2 points in that game. For the Australians, they were on a 5-match losing streak since Eddie Jones had joined as the head coach. They broke that streak last week when they beat Georgia 35 points to 15. It was a real team effort. Ben Donaldson, like I mentioned, managed to get himself 2 tries in that game for the Australians. But many of the players worked well to shut down the physicality of Georgia, and also that set piece is looking very strong for the Wallabies. They just went back, as simple as it sounds, just playing rugby. And that is exactly what they need to do in this game. They know that the Fijians will throw absolutely everything at them, so they have to find a way of countering that, not getting drawn into play that same type of game. Because when you play Fiji at their own game, there's not many better in open play than Fiji. When they're getting those offloads away, when they're creating line break opportunities and scoring highlight reel tries back to back, Fijians are one of the best. So Australia, they'll know that they need to use their structure a little bit here, but also take a couple risks. Go for those gaps. I'd love to see both of these sides walk away from this game with 4 or more tries. But now we are up to that stage of giving our prediction for this match. It is a very tough one to predict because we know that Fiji, they have to win this game if they want a chance of making it through to the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. If Australia win this game, they are about 95% likely to make it through to those quarterfinals. So really there's a quarterfinal spot on the line. The Fijians, I know how gutted they were after last week's performance, not being able to finish with that victory. I think that will drive them in this game. They've got a brilliant starting lineup. The reserves, plenty of strength coming off the bench late. And I'm honestly going to say that Fiji walk away with the victory here. 34 points to 29. I think it's going to be a high-scoring one. That is what everyone hopes anyway. They want to see these two sides go right down to the wire. But I believe this time, when they go to the wire, Fiji are going to be able to close out the game, get themselves that victory, walk away with 5 points. That'll put them up onto 7. And then that game next week between Australia and Wales, that may decide who makes it through for the other quarterfinal spot. So that is what we're going with. Narrow victory for Fiji. If they play like we know they can, they just might be able to get their World Cup back on the right track. But there's also a chance, of course, that Australia could get themselves the victory here and then make it 2 in a row for Eddie Jones and his Aussie side. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, what you think the score will be in the comments down below, as well as who you think will be the man of the match for this exciting contest. It is going to be a 3:45 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand on Monday morning. We will be doing the live commentary on the channel, so be sure to check that out as well. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.